But anyone have any comments about what you notice about the master working with just an adorable client?
Wondering why this boy came to Violet.
Because her mother forced him, in the nicest of ways.
Karen, it touched me in a special way when she says to him, "You deserve it."
I know.
About receiving good care. It's so beautiful. And I think about, all of our kids who don't make bushes like that. And if we can give them that little window of seeing an opportunity, it's emotional.
Yeah.
But to be that person who can say, "You deserve that." And
Right.
even to see how it landed with your kiddo,
Yeah.
what a treasure it is for all of us, even in witnessing that, to hold it for ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that.
Thank you. And thank you for pointing out a piece that isn't in the steps, but to that self-nurturing voice, that Violet for sure used, I think, with all of us. But yeah, thanks for pointing out that part for sure.
I was thinking, Karen, that it's I think it's the gentlest way I know of introducing the topic of anger. Because thorns, to be able to talk about a thorny side of you,
yes,
feels so vulnerable making or so taboo.
right.
And I can't think of a better way of actually introducing that. And the way. And I know she always used to say, sort of like, well, who gets caught on your thorns? Or, and she said in here, would I get stuck on them? Would I stick to, That's kind of, she makes that really important topic talkable about. I think it's one of the greatest services she's done to us, really, or for us.
Yes. Oh, so true. So true. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
I like the way Violet is so curious about all the parts of this rosebush. Like if I put myself on the place of this boy, then I would feel seen in all my, in all my feelings, in all my doings, to be seen as a human.
Yeah. So true. Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to add something too, Karen. So I'm assuming that's your son, Henry?
Yes.
So so there were many things that I thought, oh, Violet could go deeper here. And she didn't. And I'm thinking that out of her personal relationship with him, that she's being respectful, knowing that he's in front of an audience, that he's being exposed both to her, to them. And yet, even without going deeply into any of those arrows she could have followed,
yes,
the end result is him saying, I learned so much about myself that I didn't know.
Right.
And I think that's important for us to keep in mind. We sometimes it's appropriate to go very deeply, and it's useful for that. And sometimes it's really enough to just be and let I think Henry said it very well. Those are my roots. They're kind of the private side of myself that I don't share that much.
Right.
And it's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this.
Yeah. I am happy to share it. And to your point, I trust Violet, of course. It goes without saying, but I'll just say it. I would have trusted her, and I just feel like I think Henry will have this experience. She also did this great sand tray with him, which we board, and at another point that was just amazing. And he put this big alligator, this big reptile in the middle of the scene, and she just went right for that. The aggressive energy, John, to your point, figure. And her vision, remember, she could barely see that drawing. So this is with, his voice was low enough where she could hear it, but visually, she really couldn't see very well at all. And so what we see, this is just like with a lot of her senses dulled, but still so stunning and powerful. So, okay, so I was so happy to find this to inspire you to work with each other and to think about this idea of this past, present, and future using whatever media you want. So thankfully, we have those online tools. I think most of you know about them. You can go to the onlinesandtray.com, online puppets, online dollhouse, whatever you want. You could make a drawing and share that. The idea is to think about whatever awareness you have, as some of you so generously shared before the pandemic. What image comes to mind? You could use the projective cards on Oaklander training, but some of you know about Dixit cards online. Anywhere you want to go for this, some sort of projective exercise, some awareness that you have before the pandemic, some awareness of the now, and any ideas you have about the future, whatever that looks like. And you may not even be real clear about it, but just choose an image, choose a puppet, choose a card, whatever that goes with it, and then share it. And we're giving you half an hour. And Sveta, if you could put groups of 4 together, if you don't mind. And so, well, let's say 35 minutes. And we'll come back. Hi. How was your past, present, and future?
Wonderful.
Yes.
Our group realized we had a lot in common, despite coming from 4 different continents. We had pretty much the same process. So there's a little continuity.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, I know.
Super interesting.
I know. That's great. Any like one particular thing, Susan?
A lot like, you're in the normal pre-pandemic and everyone's just sort of bopping around in their own life, and then pandemic created some level of chaos and confusion and readjustment. And then a lot talking about like Just for Now was very much sort of an anchoring experience for people. And then coming out of that, accepting the somewhat normalcy, but also feeling that it's sort of a new normal. I know it's a cliche term, but having to, the reality is not quite the same as it was before, even if the trappings look the same. And, you can't sort of undo the experience of what just happened, and always in the back of your mind, will it happen again within our lifetime? And then what does that look like? And how does that affect us?
Yeah.
And also talked about burnout a bit, like how that going online, especially with kids, brought up a lot of, because we as therapists were isolated, and there was a lot more, just the triggers for families were more intense during pandemic for a variety of reasons.
Mhm,
too.
mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like some of this connection of addressing these these sort of hopeful things, fun to get together, and then also burnout that many of us are experiencing.
Yeah.
That makes sense.